Hello friends and welcome to the weekly current affairs session. So as you can see, we are in the 22nd week of our discussion on the weekly current affairs. I, Snigdha, every Thursday take your current affairs related to international relations and some history portions also, right? So now, as I have already told you, these discussions are very useful for your prelims as well as your mains part. So today, the topics that we will discuss in today's session will be these as presented below. Right, first we will discuss briefly about ICJ, that is the International Court of Justice. Then we'll move on to UN Peacekeeping Operations, what it is all about and what is its relations with respect to India. How has India contributed to UN Peacekeeping, all that aspects we'll discuss. Then finally we'll briefly discuss some aspects of India-Africa ties. We are not going to discuss entire India-Africa in detail, but some initiatives that Indian government has taken to bolster or strengthen its ties with Africa. That is briefly what we will see in this session. Right, good afternoon everyone. Let's then begin the session for today. So first of all, why ICJ, the International Court of Justice, is in news, why we need to discuss it. So it has recently given its judgment on Myanmar. Okay, Myanmar, where we have seen that persecution of the Muslim minority group, that is Rohingya group, has been happening for years now. Rohingyas, very important term, please remember, it can be asked in your exam. You can say it is the Muslim minority group residing in the area of Rakhine state of Myanmar. Rakhine state area in Myanmar, right? So these people, because Myanmar is a country that is dominated by which religion? Tell me in the comment box quickly, which is the dominant religion of the people of Myanmarese, right? That is not same as that of the Rohingyas, so that is why Rohingyas have been suffering some exploitation at the hands of the majority Myanmarese population, right? Not the entire population, but some groups are inimical to the interests of. Yes, Taruna, very good. Vishal, no, Christianity is not the majority religion. Shreyans, yes. Taruna, right, very good. So Buddhism is the dominant religion in Myanmar, and since Rohingyas belong to this minority religion, so they have not been treated very well for some years, right? So now ICJ, that is your International Court of Justice, has given its verdict on the treatment that has been meted out to Rohingyas by the Myanmarese military specially, right? So in this news, right, yes, Rohit, you are also right. So, what actually happened was that in 2017, you can say the Myanmarese military, it started a campaign against the Rohingyas, right? They wanted to eliminate Rohingyas. They thought that Rohingyas are not conducive to the interest of general Myanmari population, right? Because there were also reported attacks from the Rohingya side to the Myanmarese population. So इस वजह से, because of the conflict, the condition worsened, and Myanmarese military actually conducted some gruesome activities against the Rohingyas, right? So at that time, lot of Rohingyas were killed, displaced, rapes happened, murders happened, and a lot of inhumane activities took place in Myanmar, right? It is with this regard that the International Court of Justice has finally given its judgment. ठीक है, उसी के बाद ही रोहिंग्यास का आउटफ्लो इट स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम म्यांमार, ठीक है, नहीं तो हमेशा से वो वहीं रहते थे, बट इट इज़ इन 2017 when the Myanmar military started mistreating them, right, that is when they had to flee away and take refuge in countries like Bangladesh, some areas of India also, right? So that is when the entire Rohingya issue that you see today began. ठीक है, इसी पे बस ICJ ने अपनी जजमेंट दी है. अब हमारे लिए इस न्यूज़ में क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, टू नो मोर अबाउट ICJ. Right, ICJ is a very important international institution, so we need to know some details, some factual details of ICJ. Right, so see, ICJ is also known as the World Court. Right, it's known as the World Court. Right, it's one of the principal organs of United Nations. It is one of the principal organ. As we all know, United Nations was created in 1945 after the World War II with the sole objective to ensure peace and stability in the world. Peace and stability in the world, and to avoid another world war. Right, so now UN has created multiple organs and bodies that help UN in achieving this aim. Right, so it has 6 main organs. मैंने आपको पिछले कुछ सेशंस में भी ये बताया है. It has 6 main organs and rest agencies working with UN to ensure its objective of peace, security, stability, human right protection, inclusive growth and development, and sustainable, living. All those objectives are ensured by UN through various agencies. Right, so 6 main organs. Let's just see first the 6 main organs. Right, first is the General Assembly, UN General Assembly as you call it, where all the major decision making of UN happens. Right, all the member countries, almost 193 countries are member of UN General Assembly, and each country gets one vote in the General Assembly. Right, so that is the first main organ. The second is UN Security Council. The UN Security Council, where we have the concept of permanent and non-permanent members. So there are 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members that keep changing after 2 years. Right, so they also are very important. These 5 permanent members, can you name these 5 permanent members who also have veto power? Veto power, can you name these 5 permanent members of the UN that work in the UN Security Council and take major decisions related to world peace and security? Quickly tell me the 5 permanent members of UN Security Council who have. Yes, Kanu, right. Good, good. Taruna, you are not correct. Japjeet, right. Shreya, right. Good, good. Right, Taruna, you have just written one country incorrect. So the permanent members are US, right, USSR, China, France and Britain. Right, these all were the dominant countries at that times, got permanent membership in the 1940s. Right, so they are still the permanent members having veto power. Right, so that is the second main organ. Third is the UN Economic and Social Council, working on the economic and social issues of the world. Right, then we have the International Court of Justice that we will discuss in detail in a while. Right, then UN also has other important bodies and organizations. One is Secretary General, and then it's also related to peacekeeping of forces. That topic also we will discuss in this video itself. And these are the special agencies that are attached with the UN that are meant for specific purposes. जैसे health के लिए WHO takes care of the health issues of the world, health concerns of the world, health emergencies of the world. Likewise, ILO deals with the labor issues, labor rights, right, all those kind of issues. So this is the entire mechanism. that is used by UN to ensure its mandate, right? Now let's see the details of ICJ, that is the International Court of Justice. So it was established in 1945, right, by the United Nations Charter, right, and it started its functioning from the next year onwards, right. It's also referred to as the World Court, and it is the judicial organ of the UN. UN का आप समझ सकते हैं कि it's the judicial limb or the judicial arm of UN, ठीक है. So it's very important for giving judgments and adjudicating international issues. The ICJ plays a very important role, right. Now the headquarter of ICJ is in Netherlands, that is Hague, right. Hague, the place that is located in Netherlands. ये आप जितने भी UN के organs है उसमें से यही organ है जो Netherlands में located है. Otherwise the rest of the organs are mainly located in New York or Washington, right. So that is also an important fact to remember. Prelim में इस पे question आ सकता है. And the total number of members in ICJ are 15, right. 15 are there. They are elected by the UN General Assembly and Security Council for 9 years term. ठीक है. Can you tell me how many Indian members are there on the ICJ panel? How many Indian judges are sitting on the ICJ panel, if you have ever heard about it? In total it has 15 members serving for a term of 9 years. Yes, Shreyans, can you name also? Yes, Shreya, right. Yes, Justice Dalveed Bhandari, right. So he is playing an important role in giving व्यूज ऑन इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट, ठीक है. तो जब हमारे जजेस या किसी भी नेशनैलिटी के जजेस आर सिटिंग ऑन दिस पैनल, दे आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू एक्ट न्यूट्रली, राइट, नॉट टू एक्ट इन देयर कंट्रीज फेवर बट टू एक्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू द रूल ऑफ लॉ, रूल ऑफ इंटरनेशनल लॉ. जो भी इंटरनेशनल लॉ कहता है उसके अकॉर्डिंग दे विल गिव द जजमेंट्स, नॉट अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर कंट्री. बट इट्स ऑलवेज अ प्रिविलेज to have your country getting represented at such high tables, right, tables, the world groupings. To have a member in that, it's always a privilege, right. So इस वजह से इसका significance है. Yes, right. So this court is, as I told you, is involved in settling legal disputes between various states and it acts according to the international law. जो भी international law में लिखा है, according to that it will give the judgments, ठीक है. जैसे हमारा court, it works on the constitution and the laws or the statutes that are made by Indian Parliament. In the similar fashion, whatever laws are designed by the world body, that is UN, all those act as the guiding lines for ICJ, ठीक है. तो जैसे आपकी जिनेवा कन्वेंशंस होगी, ऐसी there are number of laws that have been made at the international level by the world body. All those are overlooked by or used by ICJ to give its judgments, right. So उस मैटर उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में दिस इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. दैट इज व्हाट इट इज रिटन. इट सेटल्स लीगल डिस्प्यूट्स बिटवीन स्टेट्स एंड गिव्स एडवाइजरी ओपिनियंस in accordance with the international law on any legal issue that is referred to it by the UN, right. That is what it is all, how it is important, right. So that is the first important issue. The second important issue of our discussion today is the UN peacekeeping operations, right. Now why is this in news now? See, two of our soldiers who were serving in the UN peacekeeping missions, they got martyred recently. Two BSF personnel who were serving in Uganda, DRC or the Democratic Republic of Congo. They were working under a UN peacekeeping mission and they were killed by the protesters there. right? So in that context, this is in news. So let's see the basics of UN peacekeeping also, right? So अभी मैंने आपको बताया that UN has a very important role in maintaining peace, stability and security around the world, and in that one important institution that helps UN to achieve its objective is the UN peacekeeping missions, right? So since 1945 itself, you can say 48, since 1948 itself, this UN has been sending पीस कीपिंग मिशंस टू वेरियस नेशंस, ठीक है? ऐसे बहुत से रीजन्स हैं इन द वर्ल्ड दैट आर इनस्टेबल, दैट आर नॉन स्टेबल, दैट डू नॉट सी पीस, right? So over a period of time, when peace treaties are signed in such regions, after that the peacekeeping missions enter those areas to ensure कि वो peace बरकरार रहे, ठीक है? तो इनका मोटिव, इनका रोल तब स्टार्ट होता है when peace treaty has been signed in some place, right? So they ensure that that peace maintains, that peace process sustains at that place, right? So they perform multi-pronged role. They ensure the security of the civilian non-armed population, they ensure security of the children, of the women, right? They make efforts to reduce violence in the area, right? They also make efforts to prevent conflict. वो मतलब इनका बेसिक रोल यही है कि पीस ट्रीटी अब साइन हो गई है तो उस पीस को आप मेंटेन कीजिए, किसी भी वजह से वो पीस जो है खराब नहीं होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? किसी भी वजह से लड़ाई दोबारा रीइमर्ज नहीं होनी चाहिए, किसी भी वजह से डेथ एंड डिस्ट्रक्शन शुड नॉट रिटर्न बैक टू द कंट्री, right? So the motive of UN peacekeeping force is to enforce peace in the region with an effective mandate, right? So that is why this UN peacekeeping missions are very important. So they are also referred to as blue बेरेट्स और ब्लू हेलमेट्स, इस पे प्रीलिम्स में क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है, ठीक है? बहुत बार येलो येलो रेवोल्यूशन, अम्ब्रेला रेवोल्यूशन क्या है, ऐसे ऐसे क्वेश्चन आते हैं. सो दे मे ऑल्सो आस्क सम टाइम व्हाट डज ब्लू बेरेट्स और ब्लू हेलमेट्स रेफर टू. सो इनको याद रखिए. UN पीस कीपिंग फोर्स को ब्लू बेरेट्स और ब्लू हेलमेट्स भी कहा जाता है बिकॉज बेसिकली द UN पीस कीपिंग ऑफिसर्स दे वियर ब्लू कलर्ड हैट्स, right? So that is why it's a very important, hats or helmets you can say, right? So the UN performs a very important role. It's like the world is collectively investing in maintaining a peace and security. World की सारी powers, they contribute money, they contribute soldiers, they contribute material in ensuring कि UN peacekeeping missions are successful, ठीक है? क्योंकि इसी की वजह से वर्ल्ड में हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पीस एंड स्टेबिलिटी एस्टैब्लिश कर सकते हैं, राइट? सो दिस लाइन इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इट इज़ अ कलेक्टिव इन्वेस्टमेंट. कलेक्टिव इन्वेस्टमेंट मतलब कि पूरे वर्ल्ड की collectively they are coming together to invest their resources, to ensure global peace, security and stability, to ensure global peace, security and stability, ठीक है? So that is why these UN peacekeeping missions are very important. Now see, till date, since 1948, that is when the first UN peacekeeping mission began, and since then UN has conducted 71 peacekeeping missions, has made 71 field missions, and in that more than 81,000 personnel have been engaged, right? And over the years, the representation and the contribution of these peacekeeping missions have only grown many folds, right? So that just shows the significance that these missions play in maintaining world peace and security, right? Now India has also, as a responsible world power, India has also contributed immensely to UN peacekeeping force. India हर वे में UN peacekeeping force को support करने की कोशिश करता है. It gives money, it gives its men, it gives its resources to UN peacekeeping force. As a result आप देख रहे हैं कि इसी वजह से इंडियन BSF के जवान जो हैं उन्होंने अपनी जान गंवाई है पीस इंश्योर करने के हक में, right? So that is why since its beginning India has contributed in the peacekeeping missions. First आप देखिए तो first Indian contribution was in the Korean War. ठीक है, अगर आपने वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री पढ़ी है you might know that 1950s में there was instability in the Korean peninsula and that is where lot of death and destruction was happening. There it was India with the UN that ensured that there could be end to violence in the Korean peninsula. So that was the first interaction of UN with the peacekeeping missions, right? Now see, till date India has participated in almost 50 or you may say 49 of the total 71 peacekeeping missions that UN has taken till date, right? And India has provided more than 2.53 lakh members or Indians serving in the UN peacekeeping force. ठीक है, तो आप वो देखिए the significance of India's contribution. ठीक है, India is amongst the largest contributors, the 5th largest contributors in the troops that are being provided to the UN peacekeeping force, right? So उसका मतलब यही है कि India as a global power wants to help UN in its peacekeeping initiatives. So India is providing all the possible resources that it can to these peacekeeping missions, right? So, and also another important point is that India is also sending women personnel to the UN peacekeeping force. ठीक है, क्योंकि ऐसी instable conditions में the vulnerability of the women civilians is very high. ठीक है, तो women और children and elderly को protection देने के perspective से it is very important that we have huge women force also, and that is why India is sending lot of women personnel also into the UN missions. And India was also the first country in 2007 that created or that sent an all women contingent to the UN peacekeeping force. ठीक है, all women contingent to the UN peacekeeping force, right? That is it. Just write these points whenever you are asked about India's role in UN or UN peacekeeping force. You can use all these points. These are very effective and useful. So Japjit is asking, despite putting sanctions, the war is still going on. Is just removing from the UNHRC or sanctions enough? Because this make these institutions look effective only on paper. So see, you are right that we can say that UN has this Russia-Ukraine war. This shows that UN and its bodies have not been very effective in controlling violence और war itself in this region. ठीक है, तो आप कह सकते हैं कि ये जो हम स्टेप्स ले रहे हैं, जैसे कि रशिया को UNHRC से बाहर कर दिया, right? So these steps make it appear like UN is just a paper tiger, but that is not entirely true, because these small steps they add up to create pressure on a country. ठीक है, रशिया is under extreme pressure. ठीक है, इन सब sanctions and exclusions की वजह से रशिया is facing a lot of pressure directly. ठीक है, और कुछ बड़ा अभी तक इसलिए नहीं किया जा सकता या जा रहा क्योंकि heavy retaliation from Russia is expected, and now we have a world that is empowered with nukes, the nuclear weapons. राइट. सो उन सब चीज़ों को ध्यान में रखते हुए डेफिनेटली यू कैन से दैट UN is little ineffective. Even when Russia occupied Crimea in 2014, that also shows the ineffectiveness of UN and its bodies. But we can say that it is trying to make efforts to ensure peace in some other ways, which are mentioned here, right? Now, so as you know, we have this Seize the Mains initiative. You have to write an answer to this question. Describe the role played by UN peacekeeping force in ensuring peace in the disturbed areas around the world, right? Also discuss India's contribution to the UN peacekeeping operations. ठीक है, GS2 के international relation part में they always ask a question on agencies and organizations of the world. राइट. सो उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आपको ब्रीफली यू शुड नो, राइट इट एज अ 10 मार्कर, राइट, 150 वर्ड्स के अराउंड. जस्ट ट्राई टू राइट अबाउट UN peacekeeping force, write the basic facts that we have discussed, then write the relevance of UN peacekeeping force, and then finally deal with how India has been contributing to these forces as a global world, as an aspiring global power. India has done a lot to ensure its significant contribution in the UN peacekeeping force. ठीक है, ये आप लिखिए, इसका आंसर आपको कल 9 बजे मिल जाएगा. ऑनलाइन आप हमारी वेबसाइट पे इसका आंसर पोस्ट कर सकते हैं. दैट यू विल गेट इवेलुएटेड ऑल्सो, right? So now the last topic for today's discussion is India Africa initiatives. See, India Africa is a very important set of relationship for us. So first just see the location of Africa. Africa में इतनी सारी countries है, and when we are talking about India Africa relations, we are talking about India's relations with all these countries, right? Just have a brief look over this map. Yes, Vishal, you will get the PDF in our Telegram channel, Raj Malhotra's IAS Telegram channel. You will get this PDF also, right? So this was Democratic Republic of Congo that we were talking about. ठीक है, इस साल भी question आया है on Congo, राइट. अगर आपने प्रीलिम्स UPSC का देखा है तो उसमें भी इस साल अफ्रीका पे ही क्वेश्चन आया हुआ है. सो इट्स गुड दैट यू कीप चेकिंग द मैप्स व्हेन एवर एनी कंट्री इज इन न्यूज़, राइट. So now why is it in news India Africa now recently? Because India Africa have signed a trade and investment agreement, right? So already India and Africa have very strong economic ties, but then they are now working to strengthen these ties or bolster these ties with more effective agreements, like creating free trade area in the African continent and connecting it with India, right? So that is why this is in news. You can make a note of this initiative and use this in your answers, that जब भी इंडिया अफ्रीका रिलेशंस की बात आए, so you can always write down that India and Africa are looking towards establishing such kind of trade arrangement between them, right? And now some concrete initiatives that have already been taken. So the first is the Program for Infrastructure Development in Africa, right? PIDA और Program for Infrastructure Development in Africa. So देखिए, Africa is a developing nations, we all know, ठीक है. वहाँ पे infrastructure like roads, healthcare, schools, airports, railways, all these water infrastructure, all these infrastructure are not very well developed, right? They need all this infrastructure to grow economically and to also help their populations grow in all the terms: education, healthcare, nutrition, and every other term, right? So with that perspective, India is providing funding, technology, technical know-how under this project to help Africa build its strong infrastructure. ठीक है. So infrastructure development को support करने के लिए India is helping Africa through this project, right? The second important initiative is Focus Africa program, right? Under this, the aim of India is to establish healthy trade relations with some of the African nations. So Focus Africa के अंदर उन कुछ African countries के साथ trade relations को trade relations will be strengthened. Right. The next is Indian technical and economic cooperation, right? So under this, technical assistance on various aspects will be provided by India to the African counterpart, right? Then Pan Africa e-network. So this is a digital initiative, ठीक है. डिजिटल इंक्लूजन के लिए अफ्रीका में वी आर हेल्पिंग देम डेवलप अ ई नेटवर्क across the African continent, right, to bridge the digital divide, to allow access to digital services to entire population of Africa, right. And finally and most important, Asia Africa growth corridor, ठीक है. So इसमें India and Japan collectively are helping Africa develop its infrastructure and provide job to its youth, ठीक है. इंडिया और जापान इसके अंडर अफ्रीका को फंडिंग देंगे टू डेवलप देयर वेरियस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स like roads, railways, health, education, schools, hospitals, all that stuff. And Africa will be creating a number of jobs under these infrastructure initiatives, right. In that way they will be developing their economy also and they will be developing their society as well, ठीक है. तो आप देखिए कि कैसे इंडिया मल्टीपल एस्पेक्ट्स पे, ट्रेड हो, इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हो, डिजिटल कनेक्टिविटी हो, in all ways India is trying to help Africa grow stronger. And that is what is the underlining foundation of India-Africa relations. Africa is a country in need and India provides all the materials and knowledge that Africa needs to grow as a stronger nation, right. So that is how you can conclude your India-Africa, right. So we will someday discuss this in detail, but for now write these initiatives. These will help you write very good answers, right. So that was all for this session, right. We'll reconnect next week. Thank you so much for watching.